We've all been there. Someone cuts you off in traffic, a coworker makes a passive-aggressive comment, or a family member pushes your buttons for the 100th time. Your blood boils, your day is ruined, and you can't stop thinking about it for hours. But what if I told you that you could become virtually unshakable? Today, we're breaking down the exact mental shifts and practical strategies that will help you never get angry or bothered by anyone again. Let's begin. Number 1. Understand this. No one can make you angry. Here's the first truth you need to accept. No one has the power to make you angry. They can say words, they can do things, but your anger is your reaction, your choice. Between what happens to you and how you respond, there's a gap, and in that gap lies your power. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." When you realize that anger is something you're doing to yourself, not something being done to you, everything changes. You stop being a victim and start being in control. Number 2. See people as powerless over your peace. Most people get angry because they give others too much power. Think about it. When someone insults you and you get furious, you've just handed them control over your emotional state. They said 5 words, and now your entire day is ruined. That's not strength, that's surrender. Start seeing everyone as powerless over your inner peace, their opinions, their rudeness, their drama. It only affects you if you let it. The moment you stop giving people permission to disturb you, they become background noise, harmless, irrelevant. Number 3. Recognize that hurt people. Hurt people. When someone is rude, aggressive, or disrespectful, it's rarely about you, it's about their pain. Happy, fulfilled people don't go around attacking others. Miserable people do. When you understand this, their behavior becomes predictable, even pitiable. Instead of taking it personally, you see it for what it is. Someone acting out their own suffering. This doesn't mean you tolerate abuse, but it does mean you stop absorbing their toxicity. You see a wounded person lashing out, and suddenly, there's nothing to be angry about. Just something sad to observe and walk away from. Number 4. Lower your expectations of people. A massive source of anger is expecting people to behave the way you would. You think, I would never do that, so why did they? But here's reality. People are operating at their current level of awareness, maturity, and emotional intelligence, not yours. When you expect a child to think like an adult, you'll be disappointed. When you expect an emotionally immature person to be considerate, you'll be angry. Stop expecting people to be what they're not. Accept them as they are, and then decide if you want them in your life. Acceptance eliminates 90% of frustration. Number 5. Ask, will this matter in 5 years? Most things that make us angry are absolutely insignificant in the grand scheme of life. Someone was rude in line. Someone sent a snarky email. Someone forgot to text back. Will any of this matter in 5 years? 5 months? 5 days? Probably not. When you zoom out and see how trivial most conflicts are, they lose their power over you. Your time and energy are finite resources. Why waste them on things that won't matter next week? This perspective shift alone will cut your anger in half. Number 6. Practice the pause. Count to 10. This sounds simple, but it's devastatingly effective. When you feel anger rising, pause. Count to 10. Breathe. In that brief moment, your rational brain catches up to your emotional brain. You create space between the trigger and your response. Most anger is impulsive. It's a knee-jerk reaction. But when you pause, you give yourself the chance to choose a better response. You might realize the situation isn't worth your energy. You might find a calm way to address it, or you might just let it go entirely. The pause is your superpower. Number 7. Detach from outcomes you can't control. We get angry when reality doesn't match our expectations. The meeting didn't go as planned. The person didn't apologize. The situation didn't resolve the way we wanted. But here's the truth. You can't control other people, outcomes, or circumstances. You can only control your response. When you stop trying to force the world to behave a certain way and instead focus on what you can actually control, your thoughts, your actions, your boundaries, you become free. Anger dissolves when you stop fighting reality. Number 8. Reframe annoyances as teachers. Every person who bothers you is teaching you something. The impatient coworker is teaching you patience. The critical family member is teaching you to not seek external validation. The rude stranger is teaching you emotional resilience. When you reframe annoyances as opportunities for growth, they stop being problems and start being practice. You're building the skill of unshakability. Every time someone tests you and you remain calm, you level up. You become stronger, wiser, more grounded. Suddenly, difficult people aren't obstacles. They're your training ground. Number 9. Develop unshakable self-worth. People with strong self-worth don't get easily bothered because they're not looking for validation from others. Insults bounce off them. Criticism doesn't penetrate. Why? Because they know who they are, and someone else's opinion doesn't change that. If your self-esteem is fragile and depends on others treating you well, you'll always be vulnerable to anger. But when you build a foundation of self-respect that isn't dependent on external circumstances, you become emotionally bulletproof. Work on yourself. Know your value. Then watch how little power others have to disturb you. Number 10. Set boundaries without anger. Here's an important distinction. Not getting angry doesn't mean being a doormat. You can set firm boundaries calmly. You can say no without rage. You can remove toxic people from your life without drama. Boundaries aren't about punishment or anger. They're about self-respect. "I don't accept being spoken to that way" can be said calmly and enforced firmly. When you stop using anger as your boundary-setting tool and instead use calm clarity, you'll find that you're far more effective and far less exhausted. Number 11. Practice gratitude daily. It's almost impossible to be angry and grateful at the same time. When you cultivate a daily gratitude practice, noticing what's good, what's working, what you're fortunate to have, your baseline emotional state shifts. You become less reactive because you're coming from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and instead of rage, you think, "I'm grateful I'm safe, I have a car, I'm heading somewhere I want to go." Gratitude is anger's kryptonite. Becoming unshakable isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending nothing bothers you. It's about mastering your inner world so that external chaos can't control you. It's about realizing that your peace is too valuable to hand over to anyone who doesn't deserve it. The truth is, most people don't deserve your anger. They're just doing the best they can with what they know. So let them be who they are. Protect your peace fiercely, and watch how free you become when you stop letting the world disturb you.